Welcome, everyone, to another DUC Migrating to Australia podcast. My name is Wes Sand, and today I'm joined by Emily Boden. So, Emily, welcome.
Hello, Wes. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for everything that you do. You actually work with the DUC now, which is great.
I do, yeah.
But we wanted to get you on board so you can sort of, I guess, tell your story. So,
Mhm.
yourself, you're the partner of the main applicant. Were you the main applicant, or was James the main applicant for the
No,
visa?
James was the main applicant. He's an electrician, so we came through his skill.
And your profession is?
So I'm a primary school teacher. I'm trained primary school teacher, but of course now I'm a relocation agent. So I've had a bit of a change since being in Australia.
Yeah. And you like that? Did you like the
Yeah,
change?
absolutely. I love it. I'm having so much fun with it. It's great to have a new experience and have a new opportunity to give it a go.
Where are you from? Where's your accent from?
So we're from Wirral, which is a peninsula just over the water, over the River Mersey from Liverpool. So we're
Okay,
we're in between Liverpool and Chester,
nice,
northwest.
nice. Yeah, you definitely got an accent, very
Yeah,
strong.
I
Do
know.
are people commenting on that already?
Lots of people are commenting on it, yes, but I think it's since being here, it's mellowed out a little bit. But yeah, everyone picks up on it straight away, and straight away we get either Irish or Liverpool. They go, "Oh, you're a Scouser or you're Irish." I don't know where this Irish sort of confusion comes from, but everyone in Sunny Coast here thinks that we're Irish or of course Scousers.
There you go. There you go. And now you got the two beautiful girls, Dulcie and Harper. How old are the girls?
So Dulcie is 6 and Harper is 4.
Oh, good. It's a
Yeah.
nice age. So James, being it's always nice when we do these podcasts, and to I guess get a bit of a background of where you are, how it started to
Yeah.
then where you are now.
Yeah.
So James, being the electrician, how was he with the English test?
Well, like before even the English test, I think I suppose like the whole journey started way back in 2013. We
Oh
came
wow!
on, we came on a working holiday visa, and we headed straight for Sydney, where my granddad actually has always lived in Sydney, like my whole life anyway. So we headed there and had a working holiday there and had such a great time. And it's always been in the back of our minds. Obviously, we went home and did our study, and that's when obviously James became an electrician, and I did my degree and went into teaching. But it's always been there in the back of our minds. So obviously then we had COVID hit. We came along to the seminar in Manchester and met you, Wes, all those years ago now.
Oh my god, that was
Yeah,
the greatest seminar.
it
That's
was
the one we did
so
near the
fun.
footy stadium, wasn't it?
Yes, it was so good. It was, and that really cemented it for us. Like we were right at the start of, just like we didn't even know how we would tackle like getting the visa. It's like it was a minefield to us at that time, with us being like young and things like that. So that was a lot of fun coming along to the seminar, and then we ended up falling pregnant with our eldest, and then obviously new baby, and you need a house for that, so we got a house, and life went on really. And then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and of course it was such an awful time for so many. But just having that time off work gave us this opportunity to have so much family time and such solid sort of time connecting and being with our little 2-year old, and we had another one on the way at that time, and it was just a really magical time for us, amongst all obviously awful times for the world with it being a
Yeah.
pandemic. But it was really sort of, it cemented it for us that we were ready to
So
make the move.
from the seminar we did,
Mhm.
did you guys sign up with us? Were you clients at that point, or you waited till after the pandemic?
So when we came along, we had no idea what we needed to do, and it was actually you gave a talk and you talked about all the points that you needed, and what we would need to do to get on that the visa that we needed basically,
Yeah.
and we came away from that, and we would need to do we needed more experience in with our qualifications to get enough points to get that
Gotcha.
190 visa. So we went away and we just carried on working towards it really. Obviously it was always in the background of our minds, but we just carried on with life, and it wasn't really until the till COVID happened that we want to do this and this is the right time.
Yeah. So so how far off? Like how many years more? Like how many experiences James have in the end?
So James ended up with 8 years experience.
Good on him.
So he had 8 working years of experience, but they took off after the skill. I think they take off the college years, don't they? At
Yeah, they
some
usually
point.
take 3 years off for the points. So therefore, because not everyone, like, obviously people come from different countries to Australia. So some do like a 4-year apprenticeship, a 3-year apprenticeship,
Yeah.
2-year apprenticeship. Everyone's different. So claiming points, usually the migration agent or immigration and everything will advise that the first 3 years is classed as training. So if you had 8 years, that minus the 3 years gives him 5 years. So you would have been claiming 10 points for work experience.
Yes, that sounds right. So, even the whole visa process, we were just so thankful that we had you guys because you just led us the whole way through. There's so many things to think about during that process, isn't there? So we just listened to you guys, and whatever you said, that's what we sort of like we did, and obviously it's worked out to this point.
You're bringing back memories because that event we did in Manchester, I was so proud of that event. That was
Yeah,
like within like a basement
it was
sort of
really
place,
cool.
and
Yeah.
I remember we had to like order caterers, and I was just like, "Oh, can we just get sausages in bread?" And they're like, "What?" Like, "We're gonna make
Sausage
money from this,"
sizzle.
and I'm just like, "Just put snags in bread." And I remember I wrote that on the request form, and they were like, "What's a snag?" I'm like, "Sorry, sausage in bread with like tomato sauce. That's just that's the food we'll serve. You can have other options." And
You
they
would
did
have
it.
probably thrown them off the cusp if you asked for fairy bread as well.
Yeah, I know. I know. Did we have fairy bread in the end? I can't remember.
I can't remember. We're
I,
talking years ago now, aren't we?
I know we had a room where we had like face painting and everything for the kids in one of the
Yeah,
rooms. And then on the other side, we had a bar. So all of our current clients could all catch up and have a chat and meet
yeah.
each other and have a drink. And then on the other side, you had to walk through all like the seminar because it's quite a big venue.
It was
And then
huge.
we had like all the kids getting face painted. And then in the middle, there was like place to get sausages in bread. Uh,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
so
that was
cool.
so fun. And as you said, then the pandemic hit. So, well, at least you got, to get some good information
Hmm.
from that. So yours, I mean, you've obviously got a bit of a twist in this one because he did his English test. Do you remember what score he got in his English test?
So the first attempt, he was just under on writing, like by a few points. We
Mhm.
just missed out there, and then for the second time, he was just over,
And was that
just
proficient or superior
for the 10 points.
for the 10 point? Okay,
Yeah.
so proficient. Good on
Um,
you.
and he worked so hard on it. It is a tricky test. Um, I did a degree in English, and I was doing the practice runs, and I found it tricky. So it is just something you have to sort of learn the questioning for, I think.
Yeah.
But he managed to do it in his second attempt, which was amazing, and we got the points that we needed to be able to obviously carry on with the process.
And it's interesting because you're in the sunny coast.
Hmm.
And obviously, the sunny coast being a regional area, were you ever tempted by the 491 or you were definitely aimed for the 190 visa?
No, so we put in for the 491 as well, and the 190, and we were invited for the 190. So that's what we've gone with, and we
Who
were
was your agent from us?
Patricia.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Trish would have
Yeah,
been working hard to get the 190. I know
yeah,
she would have.
yeah.
Um,
It was a better option, so we were like so over the moon when we got that option because obviously it allows James to go to work in the city,
yeah.
which he actually does now. So we were really happy that obviously to have that opportunity to apply for that visa was great. It was we definitely celebrated.
And oh, rightfully so. And so, when you say going to the city and he's in the
Hmm.
sunny coast, do you mean in like Brizzy City or do you mean like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
So James commutes from the Sunshine Coast to Brisbane.
how long does
Um,
it take him?
So it takes him roughly about an hour and a half to North Brisbane, but luckily he's employed by a Sunshine Coast company, so they pay him for travel. So it works well for him. Um, the commute in England, if you wanted to go over to Liverpool, you're talking half an hour sort of thing. So you've got to weigh that up, haven't you?
Yeah.
And for James, it works well because it's the work that he wants.
Yeah.
So. he's happy to do that.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah, it's just
Hmm.
interesting when you say like your sunny coast and you drive into town and you call town like Brizzy,
Yeah.
and you think it's like an hour and a half. And I mean, have you driven down to like the Gold Coast or anything like that?
Yeah, so we actually just came back from the Gold Coast. We went to the theme parks yesterday,
Oh,
which was a
nice.
lot of fun. That to be, I think we went quite early in the morning, and I'm sure that Google Maps said 1 hour 45 to the theme park. So I think James's commute is 1 hour 30 in rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
So obviously the traffic changes at certain times, doesn't it? So you can, if you go at a good time, you can get to the Gold Coast theme parks within 1 hour 45 easily. So the Sunshine Coast is a great location. You know, we've been to Byron Bay, we've been to the Gold Coast, and you know we haven't been here for that long, and it's just you can do it within a day or 2 days. You know, we
How
took
far is Byron from you?
I think it was about 3 hours drive.
Yeah.
So we went in for an overnight, and it's just great to be able to go for the weekend and you know camp or you know hire a lodge, and it's just a cheap and cheerful getaway, but you're in paradise, you know.
Did you go to Nimbin?
No, we didn't.
Ah, you missed out on Nimbin.
Oh, I'm gonna have to research that now, Wes.
Yes, you should research. Bit of a jokey thing, but yes, research Nimbin for the listeners.
Okay.
Nimbin's where it's kind of a weird area. Well, it used to be like this, Emily, that it was the area that when you got out your car, you'd be it's a marijuana, like it's full of magic mushrooms and marijuana sort of
Okay.
place. So you get out your car and then everyone's trying to. It's like it's kind of legal, but not really legal, but it's
Yeah.
sort of policed, if that makes sense. It's really strange, and everyone
Mm.
walks around in bare feet, and it's something that you go to for like the adventure and just to see how it's kind of like a little world in a world.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I was there, it was many years ago. But I've been there a few times actually. But it sort of spins you out because yeah, it's just so different.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a completely different time zone or freight like
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah,
they
well, I think
they even had a museum.
oh,
They did like a
okay.
museum there in Nimbin. It was kind of cool. But anyway,
I
it's
think that part is very like hippie, and you know lots of people travel through it for the atmosphere, isn't it? You know, you get lots of travelers traveling through Byron Bay of all
yeah.
people of different walks of life, you know. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, no, Byron definitely ticks a few boxes. I think it's too busy for us. So, but look, you're in the sunny coast and everything like that. And how long have you been? How long have you been in Australia for?
So we've been here since June, and we
Okay,
came
now,
straight to the sunny coast.
all right. So did you? How did you guys get your house then?
So we used the relocation service from the DUC, and it was a bit of a no-brainer for us really because obviously having young children, we just thought, well, we want to be in somewhere straight away. Like I'm one for research, so I was already researching all the areas and you going on YouTube videos and talking to people through social media about you know the different locations. And then when I got in touch with Louise, the relocation agent for the Sunshine Coast, I had a chat with her and she was able to point me in the right direction. And we worked with her and secured a house. We actually secured 3 houses just because the application that was put together was so strong. And we were able to pick which house we wanted to move into. And then by the time that we landed, we were able to go straight into our rental.
So describe the property.
So we live in a 4 bed, 3 bathroom, um, like a single story house with a swimming pool. And we live in a gorgeous suburb, a new suburb, very family orientated. 10 minutes drive to Mooloolaba Beach, which is quite a busy, popular sort of beach.
Yep.
20 minutes to a secluded beach that you know is very all the locals use. You don't really find any tourists there, so we're in a really good spot. Um, and we've got parks everywhere. The kids' parks. We've got one literally over the road, and we've got about 5 within a 5-minute walk from our house. So we're in a great quiet prime spot.
So you're teaching. Well, you're working with us, but
Mhm.
teaching, and your partner being an electrician. With the place that you've got 4 bedroom, 3 bathrooms, got a swimming pool, good
Mhm.
location. were you renting back in the UK or was it your house?
No, so we owned a house in the UK, and we sold up. We owned like a 3 bedroom semi detached house, a nice location. Um, yeah, it was a a decent location, decent house, and we sold up and moved over here to rent.
So, are you? I guess. Do you find it expensive? Is it like Australia? Because that's like a pretty big house.
Yeah.
4 bedroom, 3 bathroom with a
hmm
pool. What's that? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But what's that costing you a week to rent, for example?
So the rental cost is 850 for the home that we're in, which I would say for a house with a pool is like pretty, sort of average to quite reasonably priced, to be honest, on the Sunshine Coast.
Hmm.
Um, you can it depends what area you're in. Like we're in a lovely area here, but it is quite a new development. So if you wanted to go to a more established location, then you're looking to pay a little bit more. Or obviously, if you want to be closer to the beach, you're going to pay more for that. But that didn't really bother us so much. Like we were happy to be in a new development, and we were happy to be 10 minutes drive away from the beach, because obviously this is our rental. We will be looking to buy in the future, and this was a great starting point for us.
Okay, because
Mm.
you've got a bit of a twist with your visa, I guess, a little bit
hmm
too, because you guys applied onshore.
Yep.
So, do you just want to run through, Emily, what that meant and why you chose to do this?
Yep. So we um even before we got invited, we were just going over and over and over our options. And to be honest, like we had a lovely, lovely life in England, but we were just so ready for the adventure. We were so ready to just start our new life in Australia. So it got to the point where we were on the DUC club and seeing lots of people who had been waiting for so long, and obviously they'd been affected by COVID, but it was very unknown as to what was obviously going to happen with the visa grants and things like that. So for us, we felt like we were in limbo, and we felt like it was almost like we were getting a bit obsessed with the visa process. So it just got to the point where we said, well, let's just sell up, go on a few nice holidays, and just get there. As soon as the invite comes through, we can go there. If the invite doesn't come through in time, like let's go traveling, and we'll just see what happens. Let's be spontaneous. And that was literally it. Whereas like we were just, why not? There's no reason to hang around. There's no reason for us to wait. Like let's do it whilst
So,
we
Emily,
can.
so you were in Australia when you got your invite, or were you outside of Australia, got
So
your
we
invite and
we
accepted it when you're in Australia?
Yes, so we were outside of Australia. We
Gotcha.
were actually on holiday in Turkey, and within a week we'd sold our house and got an invite. So when we when we landed back in England, we were like all systems go to empty the house, get the move cube shipped off, and book flights. And that was us really on our way to
In a
Australia then.
week.
Within a week, so we put the house on the market a few weeks prior. I think maybe 4 weeks prior to getting the
Gotcha.
invite. And then look luckily for us, it was actually one of the agent that was involved in selling our house. She bought the house, so it was all really quick for us. And we were able to sort of sell it, and then we got the invite through, and we had a great holiday. And then it was just all systems go to pack up and start the process of moving them here to Australia.
Yeah, that's so cool. But it comes with a bit of a challenge. So you arrive in Australia, you're on a tourist visa, and you accept your invitation to apply, which means that you can't work for 3
3
months.
months, yep.
So what did you do in that time?
We had so much fun.
Yeah, good on you.
It was, to be honest, that was another reason why James and I sat down and we said, like, we can't work for 3 months,
Yeah, make
but
the most of it.
make the most of it. And that was another thing. We loved our time together, quality time together as a family. And we only had Harper at that point when it was COVID. We only had Dulcie, sorry, at that point when it was COVID. So we kind of wanted to have that like family quality time with both of the girls. So we said, we've got 3 months off, like let's explore our new home, let's adventure, make the most of it. And it was just like a huge holiday, to be honest. Obviously you had the big life things that we need to arrange, all the paperwork that you need to do for Medicare and to get phones sorted and the Wi-Fi and all those little housework things. But it gave us time to do that together and just enjoy and take it all in and just stop for a moment.
And so you rock up to your place on the sunny coast, and you've got a pool and everything in the garden.
Yeah.
So Dolly and Harper would think that it's a bit like a vacation at the start, wouldn't they? Like mum and dad aren't working, just pure family time. They would have loved that.
Yeah, they did love it. We obviously prepped them like well in advance, and we were always talking about Australia. They were always talking about it, and we were always very sort of like open and talk them through the whole process of what's going to happen. And then when we got here, yeah, you're right, Wes, it was just like a big holiday, and we were, even though it was winter, and we were going into Kmart and we were in our shorts and like our t-shirts going to the shopping centres, and people were walking around in big coats because obviously they're acclimatized to the weather here,
How
and
hot was it?
they think that it's cold. They're all buying woolly hats and gloves like to that
What temperature
extreme.
was it?
I think it was like maybe like 18
Yeah,
around that. So
yeah.
to us that's like a nice day, but to especially to locals on the Sunshine Coast, that's freezing. So that was quite funny. But we were in the pool, and the pool guy came around and was like, have you actually been in that water? It's freezing. And we're like, no, this is fine for us, we're quite happy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good.
Mm.
You forget, don't you, like just how cold it is in the UK. Like I've been there for a few years. Well, a couple of years ago, I went for a visit, but they're living there. God, it's like a blast from the past now. Like just
Mm.
thinking how actually cold it gets. It's crazy. It's
I
beautiful, but
know.
it's yeah, it definitely gets cold. So what happened? Did James? So once the 3 months is up,
Mm-hmm.
what? How do you know? So how do you know you hit the bridging visa? What like did a person from our team tell you? Did you get
Yeah.
something from immigration? What? How does it
Yeah,
work?
so we arrived and then we were just liaising with Patricia, and Jenny as well.
Yeah.
So they just like talked us through the whole process. The next step would be lodging the visa. So we've been invited, we've arrived in the country, we're going to lodge the visa whilst we're on shore in Australia. So they send us a draft through of like the visa sort of application, I suppose that's what you call it, and we check that, and then they send it off on our behalf. And then after that we were invited to go and book our medicals, so we then went along, there's a few options of where we could go along to. We booked where we wanted to go to, and went along to the doctors, did our medicals whilst here in Australia, and then it was just again the waiting game. And then we got notification through that of the date that our tourist visa would end and that our bridging visa would kick in. So
And
then that
who
would,
gave you that, Emily? Was it a DUC or was it immigration?
I think we got a email from Patricia
Yeah.
with documents from the immigration. So
Okay.
we had like a letter saying it was like an official letter, but I'm sure that came through Patricia via email.
Did Sorry, I've got so many questions for you. I'm being a bit impatient waiting for the answers because I don't, me being me, I don't really write them down. It just sort of like
Yeah.
stays in my little brain. So you, so I've got two questions, right?
Hmm.
Cost wise,
Yeah.
that time, when you can't be working and all that,
Hmm.
roughly, were you, I mean, I did a podcast with one bloke who was telling me that they eat cheese sandwiches every day by the beach, and they, really saved every penny, and
Yeah.
I love that because that's I think
So much
you
fun,
don't
yeah.
need a lot sometimes if it's new, you
Yeah,
know. So
absolutely.
were you guys like that, or were you guys like like having
It's,
normal lifestyle or living at
yeah,
large because you're on holiday?
I suppose a bit of both really. We obviously we had big expenses going out with furniture, so we did do a move cube, but we did a small move cube, so we only had sentimental things really coming over. So we had to buy all the furniture from fresh, which of course is going to cost money. Um, and then when we definitely did our picnics at the beach, and to be honest, we still do that now because the kids love a picnic at the beach. Like, why not?
We had
Um,
one on Sunday.
pack up and go. It's lovely, to be able to
Yeah.
just sit down on a nice piece of grass, and the parks here are unreal. So yeah, we still do picnics now, but then we wouldn't. we'd go out if we wanted to try the surf club for lunch. Then we're going to the surf club and trying the food, and we weren't
'Cause you
really
would you would have
we
been
weren't really.
cashed up from
Say that
selling
again,
your
Wes.
house.
Say that again. Sorry, Wes.
You would have been cashed up from selling your house?
Yeah, we did make a little bit of money during like for the house, but of course, like we want to buy in the future as well. So
Yeah.
we have been quite frugal with the money side of things, but that hasn't also stopped us. We found a good balance with that during the 3 months. I
Good on
think.
you. So good. With, if we look at a good balance where you had lunch out, you picnicked it up, you did all that. What would you? Again, you don't have to answer this. I always put the list. I always put the people I interview under the pump here.
Hmm.
I actually feel bad, but I got to do it for the listeners. What roughly? What'd you spend?
I
3 months,
knew, I knew
roughly.
you were going to ask me this. I should have figured it out, shouldn't I? I should
Just
have
rough.
sat
Is
down and
it
worked
10
out.
grand? Is it 5 grand? Is
Nah,
it 30 grand? I wouldn't have a clue.
we're looking at more than 10 grand. I think it's closer to 30 grand, to be honest. Whereas,
But that includes your furniture, your rental, and everything like that,
yes,
or is
yeah,
that just?
we paid our rent up front as well. So we paid for the first. I think we paid for the first 3 months up front. So we knew that whilst we were on that bridging visa, we didn't have any worries about, trying to
Yeah.
find, rent and things like that. So we just made sure we were prepared. We did our figures at the time and just sort of like went with it. We actually spent over what we were expecting. And that's why I haven't got a figure for you, because we did definitely go over. It was a
What
lot more
was your plan?
expensive.
What was your budget? What were you thinking?
As like low as we could go, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
We were going in there to sort of like, we were like, oh, it won't cost us much to get a couch and a bed and things like that. But then when you're actually here, we're thinking, well, I actually want a nice headboard on my bed. I want our
Yeah.
new gorgeous home to look, lovely, and we want the home comfort. So, and then it came down to like the kids' toys and things like that. Harper had a birthday as we landed, so I kind of took that opportunity to kit them out with toys, and I
Yeah.
went a bit OTT on the playroom. So it's just like little things like that of course it does add up. And then since we've been here, we've had my granddad come to visit, and then we've had my sister come over to visit. So then that automatically, you're going to eat out a bit more, you're going to do more
Yeah.
sort of activities and things like that. And then also it's like being off with the children. Even now, we're always out and about doing things, basically. So you can budget all you want, but if you've got the opportunity to be able to sort of splurge here and there, then why not?
Yeah, yeah, it just happens. And so with James, did he have while he was like on the tourist visa, did he establish like work so the day he could work he was ready to go, or did he sort of
Yeah.
just chill a bit, or and was it easy enough for him to find work?
Yeah, so that was another like reason why we were happy with the 3 months off, because it gave James the opportunity to call people, connect with people, and he's made some really great contacts from collecting his tickets for work. Like when he's gone on his first aid courses and all the other courses that electricians, it's desirable for them to have. So he was able to do that during the 3 months, and he met people through doing courses. He's got lots of contacts, and then he applied for quite a few jobs as well, but here on the coast everything is a lot slower. So and this is across the board, I believe. You might apply for a job and it might take a good few weeks, whereas in England it's nearly a day later you would hear something back. Here it is a lot slower. Everyone's a lot more relaxed. So it he started applying after a month, and by the time he secured a job, but then by the time that the bridging visa had kicked in, he was getting calls like left, right, and centre. But of course, you're a bit too late because it was 2 months ago he applied for that job.
Kind of crazy, isn't it? How it works? It rains. What's that old saying? Doesn't rain, it pours.
Yeah.
But that's good. So you really did well. You managed to, I guess, find jobs and everything like that, but also get things. So what about the girls? So are they at school now? What are they up to?
Yeah, so we're homeschooling at the moment. So of course with me
You're a
being
teacher.
yeah, so with me being a teacher, it just made sense for us to
You are a teacher. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we decided to homeschool. because we're on a bridging visa, if we wanted to send the girls to school, it accrues. It basically you have to pay for it. So on our bridging visa, you get the same rights as PR, except for the education. So we can work, but the girls just can't be in education. So we'd have to pay for it, which is quite expensive. So we decided to homeschool, and we've absolutely loved that. It's come to the point where Dulcie, they're really sort of like they've really loved being off, and she needs friends now. Like we're at the point where we've made a few friends at a few different play groups and things like that, but I think that it's time for her to establish, a little group of friends, so we've applied for a state school that we really like, and they have got a place in there for the new year. But we're just sort of like seeing how that goes, because obviously we still haven't had the visa through. So it's just weighing up whether we want to pay the international fees or whether we're going to hold off.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you've still got to, this has been recorded on the 9th of the 12th, and you've
Mm-hmm.
still got school's not going to start till the end of Jan.
Yeah.
So you've got that time. So Dulcie, so Dulcie's 6.
Yeah.
So if she, let's say visa gets granted, are you putting her straight into prep?
Yes. No, not into prep. She'll be going into grade 2. So
Grade
she
2?
she was near finished year 1 in England. So she will be 7 in February. So she'll be going straight into grade 2.
Gosh,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. My kid's 8, and
Yeah.
he's in grade 2,
Yeah.
and the other one's 7. He turns 7 in July, and he's in grade 1.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have the option of keeping her, like putting Dulcie in grade 1, or you want
No,
to sort of
no, I
let her?
don't. I don't think so. They kind of just said, yeah, she'll be going into grade 2. And from my research, I think that academically she is like going to be absolutely fine going
Yeah.
into grade 2. And to be emotionally and socially, she's ready as well. I've got no concerns about Dulcie going into grade 2. And
Mhm.
the question that we've been more concerned about is Harper. So she turned 4 in June, and of course in Queensland, I don't know if it's the same where you are, Wes, but in Queensland the age cutoff is the end of June. So I think it's the 29th or the 30th of June. That's when, you go into the next year group. So Harper is the 19th of June. So we've been umming and ahhing as to whether to put her into prep or have a year of kindy. So that's where we're up to at the moment, just sort of like deciding that.
It's challenging, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I let the director of housing, aka my wife, do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just like, with my 2 boys, I was like, nah, for sport, you can go lower,
Mm-hmm.
and academically. Well, I'm super proud of both of my children, but the boy who started prep in Australia, he actually did the ICAS test, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like the state test they do. And he's 4% in maths and English, which is really good. Gets it
That's
from his mum's side,
amazing.
obviously, but with his sport and all that. And I think that one of the reasons why we had the option of starting him in grade 1 or prep, but we thought,
Mm.
new to Australia, new school, it's good to sort of throw him in when everyone's kind of new. Obviously, a couple of the boys knew it, and the kids knew each other from kinder.
Yeah.
Looking back now, it was a really good choice for us to sort of have him rather than grade 1, because he did prep in the UK, whatever you call it, not prep.
Yeah.
I forget the word for it. What do you call it again?
It works a bit differently in the UK, and this is where obviously I've been like comparing the curriculums and things, but the UK it would be like foundation 1 or nursery, and then they go into reception.
Reception. He did reception
Mm.
there, yeah, which is prep, right?
Yeah, that would be prep, but in England it tends to be a little, from my research, it tends to be a little bit more play based in England, whereas in Australia it's more sort of sitting down for longer periods.
Mm, yeah,
But
I don't know.
I suppose that changes from school to school and state to state as well. Just from what I've seen and spoken to teachers, it just tends to be a little bit more academic here in comparison to for that age range. But then also you've got to compare so in England the reception age is 4 to 5, where the prep age in Australia is 5 to 6.
Yeah,
That's right, isn't it? Yeah, because they've got
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
turn
It would
five.
be.
They've got to turn 5 the year that they're in prep.
It's great. So, for you to homeschool, like, did you have to apply to anything? Do you have to tell the government that you're doing it from home, or you just, get a book out and just start teaching them, like get
Yeah.
resources and teach them, or is it something you have to sort of um, disclose?
Yeah, so in Queensland, you don't actually legally have to enroll your child into school until I believe it's 6.5.
Okay.
But because we're on a bridging visa anyway, that's not a requirement for us to enroll them into a school.
Yep.
Um, they give you the option, obviously, to enroll them, but that comes along with quite a hefty price tag as well, which from the last time I looked, it would cost us $380 a week per child. So obviously that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, per child, it's like about
Mm,
700 something bucks a week. It's what, maybe 3 grand a month
yeah,
for the two kids. So yeah, I think this is what's good about the podcast, Em, because people get, if they've got thoughts on that, you got to remember that, yeah, you can start work, but you don't get school fees
yeah,
covered.
yep,
And then each state, can be different too. So there's lots of different factors. So if you are looking to apply onshore, definitely do your research, guys, and make sure that the worst thing for us, I think, well, the worst thing for me, being the founder of this business, is you do get people come here and then they really get stressed. Oh, I couldn't afford it, and we didn't realize this, and now we're stressed.
mm,
When's our visa coming in? What's going on? And you're like, well, look, that's all out of our control.
yeah,
That's totally up to immigration. So even though it's worked really well for you, Emily, and your family,
hmm
I think, but for the listeners out there, just yeah, what would you say, given for anyone who's thinking about lodging onshore, what would be the pro? Obviously, we spoke about like family time and everything, but what
yeah.
would you say would be the pros and the cons of doing that?
I would say the pros were obviously you sort of like skip that limbo feeling, so you're not sort of like when are we going to be there, and but some people will be fine with that, I suppose. Like for us, it just felt right to do it in that time. It's very sort of like natural for us, and it felt right.
Yeah,
um the con would be obviously the financial. You're going to spend a bit of money, but again, you're going to spend money anyway because you're going to be moving to a new country and you're going to need to sort of set yourself up. And for the people who secure work before coming here, like hats off to you, because you can hit the ground running. If you haven't got a job to come to, expect that little bit of time anyway, because you're going to have to try and make those connections, apply for jobs, and start from the beginning with it, really. So yeah, it's just about weighing it up, isn't it, Wes? But I think also, as you said, just research as much as you can and speak to people and ask your visa agent for, they can sort of like give you the rules around it, and we just spoke to so many people. I spoke to so many people on Instagram as well, and on the DUC club, and just trying to connect with people and learn about their experiences. And ultimately we just wanted to go for it, and we were just so ready. It was the right time for us, and nothing was really going to stop us.
no, it's so good. And the girls, like the transition for them, are they do they miss the UK? Do they talk about it, or they're just at that age where
Yeah,
they live in the moment?
yeah, no, we definitely have ups and down days, especially with our eldest Dulcie. She misses her friends dearly. She had a really close knit group of friends in school, and she just like buzzed going into school every day. She was like one of those kids that just loved her teacher, loved the routine of school, just loved being with her friends. So she's found that quite tricky. So we've enrolled her into dance, which she's really enjoying, and we go to like gymnastics, and I'm just keeping her really busy with like meetups with other with other kids and things like that. So we're keeping busy that way, but she's
How do you
just
do that, Emily? How do you organise meetups with other kids,
so we
with
did a
parents?
we've done like a down under centre meetup the other day. We had the Sunshine Coast families come together, which was lovely. All the kids were playing in the park.
Did many
um
rock up?
Say that again.
Oh, did many
Yeah,
arrive?
yeah, we had about 5 or 6 families there,
That's so
which
nice.
was lovely. I was expecting a few more because I'd been speaking to a few families, on Messenger and things like that, but they couldn't make it in the end. So I'm going to be organising another one for the new year. So hopefully we get a few of those families that missed out coming along next year. So it was really good, the meetup. So we're going to be planning more of them. But we also just like join groups and join clubs, and then it's all sort of happened organically. We're now part of like a really cool group of homeschool like mums and dads that bring the kids along on like a Thursday, and we like hang out by the water in the park, and that's like really nice. And yeah, just like I suppose it's putting yourself out there, Wes, and just being involved with the community and just like joining things and talking to people. And it's obviously it's going to take time, but we've been here since June now, and I would say that we're in like a really good routine socially with the girls, and even for myself as well. I've made quite a few nice friends that here on the coast, and so it's just about putting yourself out there, isn't it?
No, it's so good. Um, so Emily, like we're probably going to have to do another podcast, I think, with you because I think we're going to get lots of questions from listeners with this because you've
Mm.
got so many aspects to it. But you're obviously passionate about what you've done and how you've done it, and you are a relocation agent for the Down
Yeah,
Descendant. So,
I am.
how do you help people and all of that, and how does it work? I know
Well,
how it works, but just to show the listeners.
yeah, so I suppose like starting from the calls that the DUC put on for, the clients, like, that was amazing for us. We spoke to the lovely Tanya all that time ago now, and she put us in the right direction in terms of, just like advice and speaking to another person who's been through the move. So I'm now doing the calls for the Sunshine Coast. So anyone that wants to come along to the Sunshine Coast, who has been, I think it's when their visa is granted and they're making their plans, they can book in for a phone call, and we can talk about. We go through like a PowerPoint. We can just give advice and have a general chat about any concerns they have or what to expect, that sort of thing. So that's
What
a
do they
great
ask you?
service. Say that
What, what,
again.
Sorry, I'm being really rude. I keep butting in, but I'm really intrigued. Like, what do they ask you? Like, what are common questions that people are having when we're doing that? When you're having that, one to one with them.
Yeah, so lots of times it's about schools, it's about education, it's about work, it's about the weather, what's it like there, suburbs, where's good to live, and the list goes on. There's so many questions that people do have, and I think it's also just that excitement, isn't it? When you've been granted that visa and you've been waiting for so long for it, or you might not have even been waiting for long, but you're just so excited for that to come through, and you want to
Yeah.
know as much as you can before you get there. So I suppose it just gives them that little deep dive into what it's like here and what to expect.
Just as you say that, like, Mike, because of the time now, like it's what 9:30 or 20 past 9 in the UK. I get emails obviously come to my phone and that, and it's always good. Our visa team start the day by letting the people know they've got their visas granted, and it's I think we're gonna have
Yeah.
quite a few happy people because I think we're about up to 8. I just counted before for the day.
Oh, that's
Good.
amazing.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
which can change a bad day. You get quite a few granted. So, all right. So you have a chat with them, and then how do you actually from that chat, if they want to, use your service to help them find a house, how does that work?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me, or they can reach out to. We've got a form on the website, which goes through to Lisa, the lovely operations manager, and she can sort of forward them on to me. And it just starts with a form. They fill out as much information as they can. Who's in the family, their sort of estimated budget, what areas they've researched or are looking into, and it goes from there really. So then I can get in touch with them and go through. I normally give them a call, and we have a chat, and sort of just find out what their expectations are and what they're looking for, and then once we've done that, then we can start the process of actually gathering the evidence together, for the application. All of the documents that we'll need for that application, and then from there I set up a WhatsApp group and stay in touch with them that way, and I'm just there for them the whole way through, sending them properties through and talking about the areas and what their houses are like and things like that, going through floor plans with them, and where the local schools are, the parks are, and just having a look at the surrounding area. And once, if they're happy for me to go for the viewing, then I go along to the viewing, and send them videos and pictures and talk to them about it. And if they want me to apply, then I can apply on their behalf.
So good. You are so passionate, Emily. You really are. Um, we're gonna have to go.
I'm really enjoying it, Wes.
No, good on you. Like, it's good. We love that. We like, our model at the DUC. We work for the client. We work for each other. I think it's good to have people working in the business that really follow that, and it's very,
Mhm.
very proud of what you guys have done as a group. And I know that the people that you're helping, it's you get lots of testimonials and all that, which is great. But I think
Mm.
we'll probably have to have another podcast soon because Lisa's going to get cross at us because we've been more than 38 minutes is my target, and this has
Oh,
gone for
okay.
45. But mate, thank you so much for letting the listeners know, and I reckon we will have another podcast maybe after Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully,
Find out
I'll
how.
have my visa through at that point.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll let that be the pass mark, and yeah, I'm sure people want to hear about that, and then how you got on with decisions you make with the girls. So thank you so much for taking the time to make these podcasts, and
Oh, thanks for
listeners,
having me.
yeah, anytime, absolutely anytime, and listeners, just yeah, if there's anything we can help with, this is filmed in sort of the middle of December, so have a good Christmas. I think you'll get a few of these, but if you don't, have a good Christmas. Keep safe, and we'll catch you in Oz. All right, catch you later, everyone.
Merry Christmas.